Good day, friends. Welcome to Coffee Break. This is Dr. Michele Alignay. It's another day to have this very good conversation, honest to goodness, real life conversation about drifting apart. This is the part two of our topic. We're drifting apart. And then this afternoon, I would like us to sit down again and maybe have a little recap of what happened the other day, what we talked about last Tuesday. And as we continue, let's look at the areas what on why some people still stay together and if you're drifting apart, what can we do? Meron ba tayong dapat magawa? Meron ba tayong effort na pwedeng gawin? So, let's talk about these things, drifting apart in the context of friendship, family relationship, and of course, marriage. So, friends, again, welcome to Coffee Break. This is Dr. Michele Alignay. And for those of you who just tuned in, I would like to share with you that this is something that I do every Tuesday and Thursday here in my Facebook page, in YouTube, and you can also tune in to Coffee Break at Spotify. So I hope that you can sit down with me over coffee, over tea, or like me, my cooling drink for this afternoon, to just be able to reflect well. So let's go back to why we talk about drifting apart the other day. So we said we talk about drifting apart, and it means that yes, like what other friends have said, and I know that all of you who are here have insights on what it's about. So we talk about it's a lack of connection, and it actually many couples, many people drift apart because there's lack of intimacy, not the physical or the sexual intimacy, but actually the person to person intimacy. And of course, there's no growth in the relationship. Ang tanong ko, friends, nasan kayo dito? Have you been in this kind of situation that you feel like you don't know this person, but you know you love that person? You don't know what's happening to you, basta alam nyo parang, but parang alam ko naman close kami, pero parang bigla na lang, parang hindi naman kami close. Another thing is that, um, maybe because of too many stressful events and even the pandemic has caused you to move away from each other. And I would like you to reflect about the intimacy blocks. Ano yung mga nakaharang? Ano yung mga bagay na hindi nakatulong to be able to move into this drift in your relationship, or what we also call relationship drift. So I mentioned the other day, if you go back to the part one of this podcast, it's about sisihan or the blame game. The second is that it's there's no shared life. You don't share the life that you have with each other anymore. And then the other one, it's um oftentimes you don't have response. Deadma, NR, scene zone, sabi nga nila. Another one, lack of touch. This is not about sexual intimacy, but it's about touch. The magic of touch, the power of touch as a therapy, as a means to connect with our loved ones. And then the other one, emotional turfing. Ayan, yung parang nagkakampihan. Nagyari ba yan sa inyo? And of course, there's inattention. Inattention yung parang you purposely do not include the other person in the conversation. Like, you are in the family or kahit mag-asawa, parang labas siya sa equation. So now, and then the last one is, of course, unempathic or lack of compassion or lack of empathy. So I would like us to focus this afternoon. Why do you think some still stay together? The other day may nagsabi na parang aalis ka lang when it's already toxic. Yes, you have to leave, you have to go if the relationship is no longer healthy. But why is it for some people the relationship is already toxic? Many red flags are there already. And why is it that it's so hard for them to get out of the relationship? One reason is that let's look at it like in a boyfriend girlfriend or in a couple relationship or kahit na sa mag-asawa. Of course, there's sa mag-asawa kasi iba eh. Pero sa mag-boyfriend, sa magbarkada, 'di ba? Parang nagpapabudol ka pa sa barkada mo or dyan sa boyfriend mo. They're already heavily invested. Ibig sabihin parang ang dami na nilang nabigay. Of course, there's financial, other resources. And of course, if it's not in the context of marriage, some feels that their worth is already invested in the other person. So you have to check that. Another one, many of course, this is true for many families, lalo na sa mag-asawa. They feel that they don't have a choice. Totoo yan, nangyayari yan. Parang wala na akong choice, talaga ito lang yung buhay ko. Wala na akong choice, wala akong trabaho, wala akong resources. Well, I don't have anywhere to go. This is the sad reality, but this happens to so many. And so many are actually suffering in silence because of that feeling, that sense of they don't have a choice, even though na the partner, the husband, or some family members are not treating them well. They're treated like sorry to say this, they're treated like house help, or they're treated not part of the family. They're treated as a not as a partner in life, not as a married, you're not married, parang hindi kita kilala, wala kang kwenta, and then they're lowly treated by the other person. They feel that that's a choice that they take. Yun na lang yung they're stuck in the relationship. Can you relate with this, friends? Who among you might know people na ganito yung sitwasyon, parang wala akong choice? At ano yung mga battle cry na narinig? Ganito na talaga buhay ko. Diba? Ito yung mga statements sila, I don't have a choice. Parang I'm left with no other choice. Ito na talaga. Ito na talaga. So, tinanggap na lang nila. And then another one, actually, for some people, you would wonder, parang hindi naman healthy yung relationship nila. Parang nag-drift apart na sila, there's no intimacy already in the marriage, or sa pamilya, okay lang sa inyong ganyan mag-usap-usap, pero at the back of on another tone, parang ang saya-saya nyo. Actually, some are actually satisfied. Some are satisfied in that kind of relationship. And maybe because that's their norm. So kahit na yung iba, alam natin, tayong mga marites minsan sa buhay ng iba, if we are like the observers at nakikita natin na, ay parang hindi naman healthy, parang hindi na naman sila loving couple. But for them, it's okay. So it means that they're satisfied that way. So, even though they have drifted apart, okay lang sa kanila basta magkasama sa isang bubong. And for families, especially for married couples, this is a very critical reasons. They stay in the marriage, they stay together for the sake of the family or for the sake of the kids. This is a favorite reason. But in all honesty, hindi ako buyer nitong reason na to. That if the marriage is rocky, the marriage has abuse, the marriage is already very unhealthy, toxic, as we say, I would not stay in the marriage just because of the kids. I've heard of my students before when I was working as a school counselor. Miss, alam naman namin na may problema sila, hindi lang nila sinasabi. They're just faking it. Sabihin, ayaw nila kami maapektuhan, pero alam naman namin and affected na kami. You cannot fake kids. And then the more that we try to conceal it with the kids, the more that it causes a lot of hurts and it causes a lot of issues with them. So this is really a different topic altogether. But let me just tell you that if you have drifted apart, when should you go? When should you let go? When you should really throw in the towel, or when you should say that, o sige, mas healthy siguro for now na umuwi ka muna sa inyo, dito muna ako sa atin. Or ako muna yung lalayo. Let's have a temporary solution so that we can sort things out. So when do you think you should go? And if there's already risk to your health, risk to your safety, risk to your well-being, in bottom line is, if there's already violence, if there's already abuse, physical, emotional, and psychological abuse happening, minumura ka na lagi, sinasaktan ka na lagi, you're treated like your dignity as a person is being pulled down. Ikaw na mismo yung sinisiraan sa loob ng bahay, sa social media, in anything. There's already abuse. Another is that the children are at risk. Maybe sorry, I have to say this, because some families, there are children who are at risk with their family members. There's incest, there's molestation, hindi nagsasalita yung mga bata, pero sarili nilang kapamilya yung nakakasakit sa kanila. So, if the safety of your kids is actually at risk, you have to admit and you have to say, hey, the relationship drifted apart, but it's not a reason for us to hurt our children or to be like this to our children. So, friends, alam ko medyo malalim to, but ito yung kailangan ko lang ma-quantify, when should you let go. And another, If there is intolerable character, hindi mo na matake yung character niya. Maybe there's alcoholism, maybe there's drug abuse, maybe that person has totally 180-degree change na parang hindi na siya nagsusupport financially, tinatrato ka na niya na parang hindi ka niya asawa, or if you're family members, parang, hey, bakit parang hindi mo kami kilala. Wala ka ng sense of family there. So if that's already intolerable character, then it's time to let go. Another is that problematic relationship. If your partner is controlling, if the relationship is very toxic and what we say dysfunctional, we can quantify this in different terms, and maybe this is something we can talk about later. So if you kung may ma-trigger sa inyo at may tanong na ganyan, just shoot here the questions in the comment section, or maybe shoot me an email so that that can be tackled in another coffee break topic. Pero friends, so kung ganito yung nangyayari, ito yung mga extreme situation. So the relationship is at risk, we are at risk, the children is at risk, the character has totally changed, hindi mo nakilala, we should really call it quits. Hindi mo nahahabulin yung relasyon. Pero may mga pagkakataon na feeling mo na walan lang kayo ng interes sa isa't isa. Feeling mo, let's talk about this in the context of marriage, di ba? So sa ating mga mag-asawa, sa mga mag-boyfriend, even close friends, if you think that the relationship is worth pulling together, and then so be it. What can we do when we're drifting apart? That's our focus. So, how not to drift apart? Mahirap yan. As I mentioned the other day, a relationship is a continuous discussion, continuous commitment, continuous troubleshooting. Hindi totoo na when you're already in the relationship, pagkasal ka na wala ng problema. Package deal ang struggles, package deal ang problems, package deal ang concerns in a marriage. I guarantee that. Sigurado ko dyan. So, hindi ito mawawala, kailangan nating alagaan. I have to use the word alagaan, protektahan, at continue to nourish the relationship. I would like you to reflect on these points. So, what can we do when we're drifting apart? The first thing that you should do is actually to recognize and accept that, hey, this is where the relationship is. I've heard of some couples na parang ayaw nilang aminin na nag-drift apart na sila. Hindi, busy lang siya. We're justifying things. But the moment that we actually admit na hindi kami okay, para kaming nag-drift apart, parang the pandemic has really created a void between us. Ayan, yung favorite word. There's a void between us. I don't know what are the words that you can put there, friends. Hindi ko alam kung ano yung pwede nyo ilagay dyan. But what is it that you can do when there's already a void, there's drifting, para na kayong hindi kayo magkahiwalay, physically you're together, alam nyo, you're in a relationship together, alam nyo, kasal kayo eh. The last we've heard, right? But then, suddenly, parang, you're like two different people. The first thing is really accept, hey, we need to talk. We need to work things out. Let's not deny things. This is not how we've been. And we don't want to be this way. Yun yung maganda doon, friends. Because the moment we have this acceptance, can you say with me acceptance? The moment we recognize and accept that this is our state, that we're drifted apart, we are continuously drifting apart, it means that you are actually recognizing what is it that's happening already. Your eyes are being opened to the signals na, look at this. Look at the way you treat me. Look at the way that you don't mind me. You look at the way you've been ignoring me. So we can actually share that. If the other person is defensive, I would say, really, ako personally, kung ayaw maniwala ng isang tao, you have to talk to them when everything is calm, or you have to talk to them when like, look at this, we don't used to have this, right? Now we're having it, like at the moment that something is happening, at the moment na tangible yung effects sa inyo, na nag-drift apart, or tangible yung signs, and then you start noting it and start explaining things. So, because acceptance, ipagdasal natin na tanggapin din ang karelasyon nyo. Because that's the first step. The second one, Understanding is needed. Understanding that goes beyond the brain. I need to tell you this. Understanding is important, and it's the understanding that goes beyond the brain. We thought we knew. The thing with us, we have a tendency na, ay, alam ko na yan. Ay, adults na kami. We've been through that. We've had that. Ay, nangyari na sa amin yan. Alam ko na yan. Ay, nako, ganito kami talaga dati, or may phase sa buhay namin like every January or February para kami nag-drift apart. No. But busy lang siya, and we try to rationalize things. While our brains can understand it, it doesn't get stuck there, because understanding is very needed in the relationship. It's the willingness to understand and connect. Naintindihan ko nag-drift apart kami. Naintindihan ko na may pinagdaanan kaming dalawa. Naintindihan ko na pareho naming problema to. Naintindihan ko na hindi kami makapag-connect. So what is it that we need to be able to connect with each other? So understanding is actually very needed. That is not just the understanding here, but the understanding here of the other person. Kilala ko siya. I know that he's just swamped up with work, and so I would reach out. That's understanding. So another is that empathy is very crucial. When we say empathy, we just cannot say na naintindihan ko siya. It's actually about not assuming and not being all-knowing. Empathy, it's putting ourselves in the other person's shoes. And when we are empathic, we can feel that, oo nga no, parang I'm not kind to him. Or maybe I have treated him badly, or maybe it's also something that we can ask. I feel that I am not fairly treated. I feel that you're no longer showing me that you love me in this relationship. I feel that this relationship, you're not giving it importance. Yan. So that's actually asking for the empathy of the other. It's going beyond the brain, but it's actually putting yourself in the other person's shoes. At iniintindi mo siya para mas maintindihan ka rin niya. Empathy is very crucial, because when there's understanding, empathy is going beyond it. Empathy is totally connecting with the other person. And when there's acceptance, so when there's understanding, when there's empathy, then there's the action step. There's that effort. And I hope and pray, friends, magawa natin to. Kasi ang mahirap, it's actually, remember the other day, I talked about two important things. Adaptation and intention. While we are adapting to so many changes happening in our relationship, the truth is we need to put effort in actually being intentional. Adaptational and intentional. We human beings are creatures of habit. Pag may change na nangyari at nasanay na tayo, we just fall right in. Parang routinary na. And it becomes actually that. Routinary, a task, a chore. Wala nang ginagawang extra mile, wala nang ginagawang extra effort, hindi na ginagawa ng paraan to be intentional. And so, what I've noticed is that so many couples, even friendship and families, drifted apart in their loving relationship to be more loving towards each other because there's lack of intention. Hindi nag-usap kahit nasa bahay. Parang naman magde-date, di na kami nakakalabas, pwede pa rin naman. Walang ginawang iba. Nagpadala lang sa agos ng buhay ngayong pandemya. That's a sad thing. Even though we're home, we're still isolated. And because of that, we need to put the right dose of intention while we continuously adapt to change. Am I making sense, friends? I know parang, Doc, ang lalim naman ng pinagkasabi mo. Oo. Pero there's one truth I would actually. So those are the four steps. One is acceptance. The second is understanding. The third is empathy. And the fourth is strive to be intentional while adapting to change. Friends, love is not enough. I have to tell you that. In all honesty, one of my reflections this pandemic, sa relasyon, hindi enough yung sabihin na pag-ibig. Love will not see us through. If love is there, commitment and understanding should be there. Love coupled with commitment and understanding will see us through. But love alone will not save the day. Love alone will not save a relationship that's drifting. Because there are days we will wake up We feel unloving. We feel unloved. Ayoko mag-effort ngayon. Pagod ako. We feel na naiinis tayo sa mga mahal natin sa buhay. Ako na naman. Ako na naman ba gagawa ng effort? Nasistress tayo. Ako na naman ang iintindi. And so, the, we continue that blame game. So, if you see, kahit mahal natin, it has to be that level of understanding that I need to do this because I love the person, I love my family, I love my partner, my spouse. If we say that, if there's intention, if there's love, there's understanding, commitment, plus intention, yun kakayanin to pull together. We can only pull together if there is love, there is actually acceptance, there is understanding, there is empathy, and there's a lot of intention. And let me just end with this. Friends, let's not assume, let's just not be victims here in this pandemic situation na parang nagpadala na lang tayo sa pandemya na kung ano na lang yung uso. Parang kung uso to mag-video na lang tayo ng TikTok and everything, and but then you did not really sit down to talk about the status, the state of affairs of your relationship. You don't really shared a life together. There's a lot of ignoring and emotional turfing happening. If there's all those things that's blocking intimacy, I really challenge you, friends. I would like you to probe deeper into your loving relationship, either with friendships, good friendship, solid friendship, also with your family, and more importantly, with your spouse. A marriage, it's not about loving feelings, but it's about a decision. Love is not a feeling, it's a decision. And because it's a decision, there's that decision to accept, there's a decision to fully understand, kahit na hirap natin silang intindihin. There's that decision to empathize and to be kind to our loved ones, to our partner. And then there's that decision to be very intentional. Mahirap. Mahirap, friends. A lot of marriages drifted apart. We don't want to be pandemic casualties. We don't want to get out of this pandemic with a broken heart. We may have broken hearts, but we have a stronger relationship. And I hope that whatever status that you have in your relationship, this topic in Coffee Break is a very good check for you to see. Anong pwede kong gawin ngayon? Should I stay or should I go? If I stay, can I be willing to work it out? Can I be willing to do it first, to take the risk and to reach out to my loved ones? And you know what? Comes with coupled with prayers and a lot of surrender to the Lord, a lot of humility, love and understanding. Kaya naman eh, because there's that intention. Pero if there's pride, there's a lot of blaming. I'm sorry, hindi yun kaya. But I do hope that instead of drifting apart, you work on being together. You work on being stronger together in your relationship. So, this is Coffee Break for this afternoon. This is really a good topic, friends. And thank you for joining me in this coffee break. And I hope that you continue to support Coffee Break by sharing Coffee Break to your family and friends. And also share with me your thoughts, with me what you've learned and what are your hugots in this episode. And you can support Coffee Break by sending Facebook stars. You can find that in the comment section. And if you are so willing to support what I do here at Coffee Break, you can just send me a message and I can send you the Gcash where you can send me your love and support. So this is Dr. Michele Alignay. I hope that these are points of reflection for you so that you can grow stronger together rather than drifting apart in your relationship. I'll see you next week in Coffee Break. Magandang araw sa inyo. God bless you all.